Marcus Aurelius's secret technique to never suffer again. Imagine if I told you there's a technique so powerful it can eliminate 90% of your suffering, and it was created by the most powerful man in the world 2,000 years ago? You'd think it's bullshit, right? But wait, Marcus Aurelius wasn't just anybody. Dude was Emperor of Rome, literally the most powerful man on the planet at the time. And you know what he did in his spare time? He wrote a personal diary about how not to suffer. Today, that diary is known as Meditations, and there's a technique in there that will blow your mind. The truth is, you're suffering over nonsense. Suffering is a choice, and you don't even realize it. Think about it. When was the last time you truly suffered? I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about that mental suffering that consumes you. I bet it was because of something that hasn't even happened yet, or something that already passed and you can't change. Marcus Aurelius figured this out millennia ago. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. Dude, that's devastating when you stop to think about it. Remember Naruto when he kept torturing himself because everyone hated him? The guy suffered more thinking about what others thought of him than from the actual treatment he received. The same thing happens to you. You're in traffic and you start imagining, I'm going to be late, the boss will fire me, I'll be unemployed, I'll starve. Dude, you haven't even gotten to the office yet, and you're already suffering over 15 different scenarios that probably won't even happen. Marcus Aurelius called this false impressions, and he had the cure. The separation technique. What's real versus what's fantasy? Here's where it gets interesting. Marcus Aurelius developed a technique he called separation between impression and reality. It works like this. Every time something bothers you, you stop and ask, is this thing bothering me real or just my interpretation? Practical example, your boss calls you to talk. Your mind, he's going to fire me. He found out I don't know what I'm doing. My career is over. Reality, he just wants to talk. Period. Marcus Aurelius wrote, remove your opinion and you have removed the complaint I was hurt. Remove the complaint I was hurt and the hurt disappears. It's like the Matrix, dude. You discover that most of your suffering is just crazy code running in your head. Like Morpheus said, your mind makes it real. But unlike the movie, you can choose the red pill at any moment. The power at the present. Why Marcus Aurelius didn't suffer from the past or future. Now comes the part that will blow your mind. Marcus Aurelius governed a gigantic empire. Wars, betrayals, plagues, revolts. The guy had plenty of reasons to freak out. But he discovered something revolutionary. You can only suffer in the present. Confine yourself to the present, he wrote. Think about it. Did you suffer yesterday? No, because yesterday is gone. Did you suffer tomorrow? Also no, because tomorrow doesn't exist. You only suffer now. And if you're suffering now because of something that's not happening now, dude, you're sabotaging yourself. It's like Goku in Dragon Ball. The guy is always focused on the fight that's happening now. He doesn't dwell on past defeats or worry about the next enemy. That's why he's so strong. Marcus Aurelius applied this in real life. The present is the only thing we can lose because it's the only thing we possess. The so what technique, how Marcus Aurelius neutralized any problem. Here's where it becomes obvious why Marcus Aurelius was unbeatable. He had a technique he called premeditation malorum, imagining the worst possible scenario, but not to despair, to neutralize fear. It works like this. Take anything that's worrying you and ask, so what? What's the worst that could happen? Example, you're afraid of being fired. So what? You get another job. What if you don't get one? You sell some stuff, save money, figure it out. What if you can't figure it out? You ask family and friends for help. What if nobody helps? You start from zero, learn something new. When you go to the end of the fear line, you discover it's not that scary. Like Tyrion Lannister said in Game of Thrones, never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you. Marcus Aurelius did this with everything. That's why nothing shook him. Death as teacher, Marcus Aurelius' most brutal lesson. Now prepare your heart for this. Marcus Aurelius had the most morbid and genius habit in history. He meditated on death every day, not from depression, but from strategy. He wrote, "It is a shame to be weary of life when life itself has not grown weary of you." The logic is simple. If you accept that you're going to die someday, everything else becomes trivial. That WhatsApp argument? Irrelevant. That overdue bill? You'll figure it out. That work problem? It'll pass. Because in the end, as Mr. Miyagi said in Karate Kid, best lesson in life is knowing when to stop learning. Marcus Aurelius stopped learning to suffer and started learning to live. Total control, the difference between what you can and cannot control. Here's where Marcus Aurelius becomes a god of philosophy. He divided everything in life into two categories. 1, things you control. 2, things you don't control, and he discovered something revolutionary. You should only worry about category 1. What you control, your reactions, your thoughts, your decisions, your effort. What you don't control, what others do, what others think. The final outcome, the past and future, Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. It's like Kakashi taught Naruto. Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their companions are worse than trash. Wait, that's not it, but the idea is the same. Focus on what truly matters. The supreme technique, how to apply this today. So, how do you use this in practice? Step 1. Every time something bothers you, pause and ask, is this real or just my interpretation? Step 2. If it's interpretation, discard it. If it's real, ask, can I control this? Step 3. If you can't control it, accept it. If you can control it, act. Step 4. Whenever you catch yourself suffering over something from the past or future, return to the present. Marcus Aurelius did this all the time. That's why he could govern an empire without going crazy. As he himself said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. The truth that will change your life. Here's the deal. Marcus Aurelius discovered that suffering is optional. Physical pain? That's sometimes mandatory. But mental suffering? Dude, that's your choice. You can continue being a slave to your thoughts, or you can use the technique of the most powerful emperor in history. The difference is that Marcus Aurelius governed Rome. You only need to govern your own mind. And honestly, that should be easier. As Marcus Aurelius himself concluded, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So what quality of thoughts will you choose to have today?